All right, so today we're going to be looking at AptDeco.
Ooh, AptDeco.
Yeah, have you ever used it?
I have not used it.
Oh.
I've heard of it, but I've never personally used it.
Well, it's sort of like if you think of Craigslist, but just for furniture.
Okay.
And more specifically, sort of higher-end furniture.
So like not your IKEA.
Not your IKEA.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into that and figure out how to make some money on there.
All right. I'm ready to learn.
Yeah, me too.
Let's get into it.
So it's a really interesting platform because it goes beyond just like getting rid of your old furniture.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it's specifically for people who care about style and quality, and they want to sell it to other people who care about style and quality.
Right. It's like a curated marketplace, kind of.
Exactly. And they handle all the delivery and everything, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's pretty key.
That's a huge selling point, I think, especially when you consider that on Craigslist.
Right.
You have to like figure out how to get this big piece of furniture to somebody's house.
Yeah, totally. And like hope they don't like flake on you or something like that.
Right. Or like how do you even get it down a flight of stairs or whatever?
Exactly.
But I'm curious about that. Like how does that impact the pricing? Because I would imagine buyers factor that in.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you've hit a key point there.
Yeah.
That convenience, it comes at a cost. And so you have to be really smart as a seller about how you factor that into your prices.
Okay, so before we even get to the numbers, just like baseline AptDeco isn't available everywhere, right?
Right. It's not nationwide. It's just specific metro areas.
Okay.
I think they're trying to grow, but for now it's kind of a city thing.
So for all you city dwellers, this is for you.
Exactly.
And it seems like it kind of attracts a specific buyer.
It does.
Someone who's looking for a little more than just like a basic sofa from like wherever.
Totally. Yeah, you're not going to find your like particle board or whatever on there. It's going to be like mid-century, modern.
Yeah.
It's going to be designer name, you know, those kinds of things. So yeah, you have to think about who that buyer is when you're listing things.
Okay, so presentation is key.
Yes.
We need to make these listings really stand out so everyone talks about great photos.
Mm-hmm.
What makes a photo like truly great in this context?
Okay, so I think for AptDeco specifically, think of your photos as like a mini showroom for each piece.
Okay.
You know, multiple angles are key, show every detail. Natural lighting is your best friend.
Okay.
And ditch the cluttered backgrounds.
Yeah.
So you really want like a nice clean backdrop so that the furniture is like the star.
So not just snapping a quick picture with your
No,
phone.
no. A little effort in staging can go a long way.
Okay.
So for example, instead of just photographing a dining table,
Right.
set it, you know, maybe put some placemats on it or like a vase with flowers.
Okay.
Help the buyer picture that piece in their home.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What about imperfections?
Okay, so honesty is important.
Yeah.
But it's about finding that balance. You don't need to point out every tiny little nick.
Right.
But be transparent about any major flaws.
Right.
You can do like a close-up photo.
Yeah.
Detailed descriptions.
Yeah.
All that builds trust with a potential buyer.
Okay, so you mentioned researching sold listings.
Uh-huh.
How do we go beyond just seeing the final price? Like, how do we really use that information?
Okay, so you have to become a furniture detective.
Okay, I like it.
Don't just look at the numbers. You have to analyze the trends.
Okay.
So are certain styles or brands selling faster or for higher prices?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a particular niche you could tap into?
Yeah.
You know, use those sold listings to decode the market and find those opportunities.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not just setting a price, we're uncovering hidden value.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
anticipating buyer demand.
Anticipating buyer demand.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do the AptDeco delivery fees, like how do those factor into this whole equation?
All fees are non-negotiable, so you have to be strategic. See if you can find out the average delivery cost for similar items in your area,
Okay.
and then kind of work backwards, you know, factor that cost into your asking price.
Okay.
Because remember, the buyer's factoring it in too.
Right.
So transparency is key.
Yeah, it always comes back to that.
It does.
But we don't want to price ourselves out of the market.
Right.
So what's that sweet spot between attracting buyers and making sure we're making a profit?
All right. So here's a pro tip.
Okay.
Build in some wiggle room for negotiation.
Okay.
Don't price at your absolute bottom line.
Right.
You know, start a little bit higher, knowing that you might get offers or counter offers.
Okay.
It's all part of the dance.
I like that. Okay.
Okay.
So you get a great listing.
Mm-hmm.
The price is right. Someone's interested. What happens next?
Okay, well, communication is crucial.
Right.
Respond to messages and offers promptly.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just selling a piece of furniture. You're
yeah.
selling an experience.
Yeah.
Be friendly. Be
Right.
informative.
Yeah.
Be professional.
So it's about building a relationship, even if it's a brief one.
Exactly. And once you've agreed on a price,
Okay.
schedule that pickup or delivery with AptDeco, like ASAP.
Yeah,
You want to keep that momentum going.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got the listing looking good. We've got the price right.
Yep.
The communication's flowing.
Yeah.
AptDeco's taking care of getting it there.
Right.
But I'm wondering, like, what about those final steps before the piece is actually out of our hands?
Yeah.
Anything we can do to really seal the deal?
Absolutely. Think of it like you're prepping for a photo shoot.
Okay.
But instead of a photo shoot, it's like a pickup photo shoot.
Okay.
So before that AptDeco truck arrives, make sure the furniture is like sparkling clean,
Okay.
ready to go if it's a larger piece.
Yeah.
Disassemble it if necessary, and protect any fragile parts.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. Like, it really is that last impression.
It is, yeah.
Making sure everything looks as good in person as it did in the photos.
Exactly, and don't underestimate the power of just good customer service.
Answer any last-minute questions the buyer might have.
Yeah.
Be accommodating with scheduling. Go the extra mile if you can.
So we're not just selling furniture. We're cultivating good experiences.
Yeah, exactly. It's about building that reputation.
And that leads me to reviews.
Yes.
Because those glowing testimonials, they can really make a difference.
Oh, they totally can. Those positive reviews build trust and credibility.
Mm-hmm.
They show potential buyers that you're reliable, you provide excellent service,
Right.
and they can even boost your visibility on AptDeco.
Okay, so how do we encourage those reviews without being too pushy about it?
It is a delicate balance.
Mm-hmm.
The best approach, I think, is just to subtly suggest it
Okay.
after the transaction is complete.
Yeah.
So you can just send a message like, I hope you're enjoying your new whatever.
Yeah.
If you have a moment, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a review on AptDeco.
Yeah, subtle but effective.
Exactly.
Okay, but let's be realistic. Not every item is going to sell right away.
Right.
What happens when we hit that sales slump? Okay, first of all, don't panic.
Okay.
Slow sales happen to everyone.
Yeah.
Instead of getting discouraged, treat it as an opportunity to reevaluate and adjust.
Okay.
So go back to your listings. Look at them with fresh eyes. Are the photos still top-notch?
Okay.
Could the descriptions be more compelling?
Mm-hmm.
Is the pricing still competitive?
So staying proactive, adapting to the market.
Exactly.
What are some strategies for refreshing those listings?
Okay, well, you can experiment. Try lowering the price a little bit,
Okay.
especially if you see similar items selling for less.
Mm-hmm.
You can relist the items periodically to bump them to the top of the search results.
Okay.
And consider adding a fresh coat of paint or changing up the staging to give those pieces a new look.
So like giving those listings a little makeover.
Exactly.
What if even after all that, an item just isn't selling?
Sometimes change of scenery can do wonders.
Okay.
So if you've exhausted all your options on AptDeco, consider listing the item on another platform.
Okay.
There's no shame in diversifying your sales channels.
Makes sense. It's all about finding the right audience for each piece.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about returns.
Okay.
That's the flip side of selling. And let's be honest, not always the most fun part.
Right.
How can we minimize those return requests?
Okay, so the key to minimizing returns is setting clear expectations from the start.
Okay.
Detailed descriptions, accurate photos, transparency about any flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all super important.
Yeah.
Now, when a return does happen, stay calm, stay professional.
So we're just approaching it as a problem to solve,
Exactly.
not a personal attack.
Right. Remember, AptDeco has a return policy in place.
Okay.
So familiarize yourself with the guidelines, follow the process,
Right.
and don't forget to use the experience as a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
Was there something you could have done differently in the listing or communication to prevent the return?
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
Sometimes those returns can actually reveal things we could be doing better.
exactly.
Now, what about disputes?
Ooh.
Those can be a little trickier. What happens when a buyer and seller just can't agree?
Well, disagreements are bound to happen occasionally.
Right.
The key is to address them constructively.
Oh, right.
Always try to resolve disputes directly with the buyer
Okay.
through clear, respectful communication.
So diplomacy is the name of the game.
Exactly. But if you've exhausted all avenues of direct communication
Right.
and you're still at an impasse,
Mm-hmm.
AptDeco has a resolution process in place.
Okay.
Gather any relevant documentation,
Okay.
photos, messages, transaction records.
So documentation is key.
Yes.
I got it.
And follow the steps that are outlined by AptDeco.
Okay. Speaking of things that can be a little tough to deal with.
Yeah.
Negative reviews.
Oh, yeah.
The digital equivalent of a bad hair day.
Right.
How can we handle those less than stellar reviews in a way that protects our reputation?
Okay, so negative reviews can sting,
Yeah.
but it's important to remember not every buyer will have a perfect experience.
Right.
Respond promptly and professionally.
Okay.
Address the buyer's concerns directly.
Apologize for any inconvenience caused.
Yeah.
And offer a resolution if possible.
Sure, you're showing that you care and that you're taking their feedback seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if you can't fully satisfy a disgruntled buyer,
Yeah.
a thoughtful and professional response can go a long way.
Okay, so it's about damage control, but it's also about showing that you're a responsible seller.
Exactly.
Okay, let's face it, not all buyers are created equal.
Right.
Some are a dream to work with,
Yeah.
and others, well, they test our patience.
They do.
Any tips for dealing with those more challenging customers?
Ah, yes, the art of navigating difficult personalities.
Yes.
The key is to remain calm, polite, and professional,
Okay.
even when faced with unreasonable demands or less than courteous communication.
So kill them with kindness.
It can be surprisingly effective,
Okay.
but it's also important to set boundaries.
Right.
You don't have to tolerate abusive language or behavior.
Yeah.
If a situation escalates, disengage politely,
Okay.
and if necessary, contact AptDeco support for assistance. So it's about finding that balance
Yes.
between providing excellent service and protecting yourself.
Exactly.
Let's shift gears a little bit, talk about something a little more exciting.
Yeah.
The thrill of the hunt.
Yes.
We talked about sourcing inventory from places like thrift stores, estate sales,
Right.
online marketplaces.
Right.
What are some tips for navigating those treasure troves and finding those hidden gems?
Okay, so sourcing inventory is like embarking on a treasure hunt.
Okay.
You have to develop a keen eye for quality, style, and potential.
Okay.
Look for well-constructed pieces,
Hmm.
interesting designs, unique details.
Okay.
Don't be afraid of a little wear and tear.
Yeah.
Often those imperfections can add character and charm.
So we're looking for those diamonds in the rough, those pieces with stories.
Exactly.
What are some things we should be paying attention to when we're evaluating a potential purchase?
First and foremost, assess the construction.
Okay.
Look for solid wood pieces, well-made joints, durable materials.
Mm-hmm.
Examine the overall condition. Check for any major damage or structural issues.
Okay.
And don't forget to research.
Oh,
Familiarize yourself with different furniture styles, periods, designers.
so we have to be part historian, part detective,
Yes.
and part visionary.
Exactly. And trust your instincts.
Okay.
If a piece speaks to you, even if it needs a little TLC,
Right.
there's a good chance it will speak to someone else too.
So we're not just buying furniture, we're curating a collection.
Yes.
We're telling a story.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's talk about negotiation. You mentioned haggling,
Uh-huh.
especially at places like flea markets and estate sales.
Right?
Any tips for negotiating like a pro?
Okay, so be respectful, but don't be afraid to make an offer.
Okay.
Especially if you spot any flaws or if an item has been sitting around for a while.
Okay.
Be prepared to walk away if the seller isn't willing to budge.
Right.
Remember, you're trying to get a good deal,
Mm-hmm.
not just make a purchase.
So it's that balance between assertiveness and diplomacy.
Exactly. And remember, patience is key.
Yeah.
You might not find that perfect piece on your first outing,
Right.
but with persistence and a little bit of luck,
Yeah.
you'll uncover those hidden treasures that'll make your AptDeco listings really shine.
I love that. Okay. So we found those amazing pieces.
Yes.
We talked about cleaning. We've talked about repairs. But what about that art of staging?
Ooh, yes.
How do we make those secondhand treasures look like they belong in a magazine?
This is where you really unleash your creativity.
Okay.
Staging is all about creating those irresistible scenes that just draw buyers in.
Yeah, but for somebody who maybe doesn't have that natural eye for design,
Yeah.
where do we even begin?
Okay, so start by envisioning the ideal setting for the piece.
Okay.
Who is the buyer? What kind of space do they live in? What lifestyle do they have? Once you have that picture in mind, you can start building the scene.
Okay.
Choose a clean and uncluttered backdrop.
Okay.
Natural light is your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Then add a few carefully chosen props to create that sense of place and style.
So it's about telling a story, creating that aspirational feeling.
Exactly.
What are some specific staging techniques?
Okay, layering is key.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to mix textures, patterns, colors.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're staging a vintage velvet armchair,
Yeah.
you might pair it with a sheepskin throw and a stack of design books.
Okay.
On a sleek side table,
I like it.
add a touch of greenery with a potted plant, maybe even incorporate a statement piece of art
That's great.
to create a focal point.
It's creating those I need this in my life moments.
Exactly.
Any other staging tips?
Remember, less is often more.
Okay.
You don't want to overcrowd the scene or distract from the beauty of the furniture.
Right.
Choose props that complement the piece and enhance its style.
So it's that sweet spot
Yeah.
between showcasing the piece and creating this whole visually appealing story.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk photography.
Okay.
We've established high-quality photos are non-negotiable.
Right.
But how can we take our photos from good to great?
Okay, so photography is all about capturing the essence of the piece and conveying its unique character.
Okay.
So invest in a good camera if you can.
Right.
Natural light is your best friend. So shoot during the day near a window.
Okay.
Avoid using the flash. It can wash out colors and create harsh shadows.
So we're going for those soft, inviting images.
Exactly.
Makes you want to reach out and touch the furniture.
Yes.
What about editing?
Okay, so photo editing can enhance your images, but the key is subtlety.
Okay.
Adjust the brightness, contrast, and sharpness,
Okay.
but avoid heavy filters or unrealistic enhancements.
Got it.
The goal is to present the piece authentically.
It's about enhancing, not altering.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's talk about learning from the best.
Yes.
You mentioned analyzing the listings of top AptDeco sellers.
Right.
What are some specific things we should be paying attention to?
Think of it like taking a master class in AptDeco selling.
Okay, I like.
Browse through the listings of sellers with high ratings and impressive sales volume. Pay attention to their photography-style staging techniques, the way they describe their items.
So we're looking for inspiration, but we're also trying to understand what's working and why.
Exactly what keywords are they using?
Yeah.
How do they structure their listings? What sets their shop apart from the competition?
It's like we're decoding the secret formula for AptDeco success.
Exactly. And don't just focus on the visuals, read through the reviews,
All right.
both positive and negative.
Okay.
What are buyers praising? What areas for improvement are they pointing out?
Right.
By analyzing that feedback, you can gain valuable insights into what buyers are looking for.
It's like having a direct line to the AptDeco customer.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we wrap up this segment, any final words of advice for aspiring AptDeco hustlers?
Be patient and persistent.
Oh.
Success takes time and effort.
Yeah.
Stay curious, experiment, and never stop learning.
Mm-hmm.
The world of online furniture resale is constantly evolving, so be adaptable and embrace the challenge.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, from sourcing and staging to pricing and photography, from navigating those challenges to learning from the best.
It's been a journey.
Wow, we really dug deep on this whole AptDeco hustle.
We did.
From finding the pieces to understanding the market and how to make those listings really sing.
Yeah.
So now that we're at the end of this deep dive, I'm curious, what are some of the key takeaways here?
Oh, man, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things is that this is more than just like a digital storefront.
Okay.
It's like you're tapping into this community of like design enthusiasts and savvy sellers and buyers who are looking for those like unique pieces.
So we've infiltrated this secret society of furniture lovers.
Exactly. And to thrive in that community, you have to really get it. You can't just list something and hope for the best.
Okay.
It's about crafting a compelling narrative, like presenting your pieces in a way that's going to spark desire.
Right.
And providing an A+ customer experience.
So it's like those entrepreneurial skills mixed with genuine passion for furniture and design.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's about recognizing that each piece has a story to tell.
Yeah.
And finding the right way to share that story.
I love that. So for those who were just starting out on their AptDeco journey, what's the one piece of advice you would give them?
Don't be afraid to dive in and experiment. Embrace that learning process. Be patient. Be persistent.
Okay.
And most importantly, have fun.
Yeah.
The world of furniture resale, it's full of surprises and rewards, and you can achieve some pretty amazing things.
Well, that's it for this AptDeco deep dive. We've covered a lot, from sourcing those hidden gems to staging and photography, from navigating those inevitable challenges to learning from the best in the game.
Yep.
Now it's your turn. Take what you've learned and create your own success story. Go forth and conquer those furniture listings.
Happy hustling.
We'll see you next time.